on. It's been a while. Milli Vanilli is back. Simon is Garfunkel, and was it Vanilla and Ice are back?
Yeah, I'll take Milli
Oh,
Vanilli
the
all
band
day.
is back
Blame
together
it
again.
on the rain, the sun
Blame it on the
falling.
rain. And well, people were speculating that maybe Brian and FOMO, there was a girl involved, right? People were accusing Jennifer Gala of being Yoko Ono, but Brian, you gotta have to tell the truth. Why did we take time off? And it
She
wasn't
was
Yoko
definitely
Ono.
the Yoko. She was definitely Yoko Ono. Hold on a second. I'm reconnecting to my Ethernet because
See, this
I'm
is
jumping on
why, right? The
Wi-Fi.
internet is what kept us apart.
I haven't been on here with you in so long. My computer was like, "Yo, hold on. It's gonna
I
teach
don't
me."
recognize that dude.
It was like, "Yo, what are you trying to do?" I
What's
changed my
happening?
passwords and stuff. Like, why the hell are you grabbing this? Hold on one second. All right, pause it.
All right. In the meantime, I'll say hello to everyone. Hey, everyone. I mean, there's nothing better than a phony baloney. Hey. There's Craig Berkey. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. H. Ali is here. Thank you for coming. And hey, Ali, what was your question? I will answer it right now. I must have missed it last time. So, what is the question, H. Ali? Put it up. I will finally get to your answer. And Jennifer, finally, guys, I'm at work. Glad you're late. Hey, you know what? It happens. I actually, while Brian was trying to get his beautiful clothing on, I ran over to a nearby pastry
What
shop
the hell?
and I picked up this. It's a Syrian pastry shop and it's called kanafe, butter kanafe. It's so good. Oh, I think I'm going to have to run 3 miles just to get that off. Ugh. Hey, it's Ye Rock, aka Corey. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome, HLE. Tell me your question. I will answer it right now. Hey, everyone. Hey, Ace. Hello. And Ephraim says, HGIG, no big deal. I have no FOMO for that. And I mean, it's very ironic, right? A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I will never buy Samsung again. And if you're a gamer, it's hit or miss. Some of you use it. I get it. Some of you don't like using it because you feel it's too dim. I'm one of those people, but mostly because I'm in a bright room and I get it. I rather tune
Right.
it to my preferences, and we're going to talk about that. We will talk about Samsung taking away HGIG. Now, I am not endorsing that. Far from it. I want people to have options. And I still don't know why Samsung took that away, HGIG. I mean, you have it. Why take it away, right? So are we good, Brian?
Yeah, they did. They put in all that effort to make it. And they're like, nah, we're good. I don't want it.
Well, it's like giving people Dolby Vision for 3 months and then taking it away. Psych.
Like, no, you guys didn't want it. But if you're a gamer, it is a massive problem because there's only a few companies that have HGIG implementation. And typically it would be LG first and foremost, and then obviously Samsung. And now it pushes you back the other way because maybe you chose it for HGIG. And it had very good HGIG implementation. So FOMO's in contact with them, so hopefully we'll figure out what happened and hopefully maybe get it back. Hopefully it was an oversight and it went away because it was connected to something else in software. That's all I can think of. It makes no reason to take it away unless it was hurting something.
Well, my theory is, as with all things, all it takes is one person who gets fired, and on his way out, he's given the middle finger to Samsung. I'll show you. Starts pulling all the plugs, click and delete. I'm out of here. That's why security always accompanies you, right? So he had when he was going to get fired, and then he just jumped in there, started pulling things off, and just, boop, I'm out of here.
FOMO, I wonder if that was the guy that was working for Sony back with the 900H. He's like, I'm taking that VRR on the way out.
I remember.
Oh, blame it on the rain. What's up, folks?
Blame it on the rain, my friends. Blame it on the rain.
How we doing?
Well, so here's, so this is a good start. Now, if you guys don't know, right, as we're warming up, quick reminder, the King of TVs is coming up this Saturday. Brian and I are co-hosting again. We're going to be, so this year is slightly different, right, Brian? It's going to be fun because we will have our own TVs on display, 55-inch versions. They will be the same TVs, or rather the same models, being reviewed by the judges. Now, in the past, we've had a lot of issues where they were showing a lot of copyright-protected movies and so forth, and we weren't even allowed to show anything, right? And it was a real hassle turning on and off and changing patterns or whatever. So this year what we did is we have two sets of TVs. One for us to stream, and which is not using copyright written content, but we will set it up so that it, first of all, the TVs are semi-accurate, right? But again, with the different technologies, don't look at the color, listen to our commentary, but you'll have the four TVs that Dwayne Davis is going to do some white point matching by eye. It won't be as thoroughly calibrated as the TVs next to us on the other side of the curtain, which are all 65-inch TVs with two reference monitors. We're going to interview Dwayne Davis on probably Friday, I'm hoping, and he'll go over the exact protocol of how they're doing it this year, because every year we want to make it a little bit better. And to Fu Ragnar's point, they are all OLED TVs. Again, because every year when we have the mini LED, what is it you and I, Brian, say? We say, oh, the OLEDs are just so much better every year, while the mini LEDs, they're not improving that much. And you're seeing the differences in contrast and all of that. So even with the Bravia 9 or the QN95D last year, once you put on the G4, it wasn't even competitive. So that's why King of TVs, we're not even doing best mini LED this year. We're doing best OLED TV and the best mid-tier OLED TV, right? And that would be the C5 versus the S90F. And on the four top OLED TVs, the Sony Bravia 8 Mark II, LG G5, Panasonic Z95B, and the Samsung S95F. And we're going to talk about whether this update affects it may. And I have my theories about that as well. But
how was our audio? Got some comments about our audio. Mine's too quiet. His is too loud. Just give us a little check on our audio is before we get too deep.
Brian's audio is too quiet. Mine's too loud. So let me turn down my gain a little bit. And
I turned mine up
hopefully
slightly.
That's better. Turn up yours.
How do we sound, guys? Audio okay? Audio okay? Mic check, mic check, mic check. Because sometimes we get into this long conversation. They're like, yo, your mic is off. Like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, and I apologize. I did check audio on my side. The problem is I'm actually using a new camera. I have my new Panasonic S12 II. I don't know. So
FOMO and I, how many times we've worked together, he literally is like, I never used these cables before. Like, you're using them at CES? I am. And he's like plugging them in. This one doesn't work. I got to go back to the hotel. All right, awesome. All right. What's up, Brittany? How are you, my love? What's up, buddy? What's up, everybody?
Okay, I'm taking it down 6 decibels for you guys. Hopefully that should be better.
Right. See how we're doing? So quickly about the shootout.
Yes.
We talked about this. Now, there's a few reasons why there isn't LEDs in there. It's not that they're really not up to stuff. The problem is we really only cover flagship in the Value Electronics shootout. The challenge is they aren't having new flagships every year, right? So this year, for instance, the Bravia 9 does not have a successor. We had that happen with the AK shootout a couple of years ago, right, FOMO? The Z9K carried over. We don't want these TVs carrying over. We really want to have the best of the best each year. And right now, that would have just been the QN90F. There was no QN95F this year. So it just became to where there wasn't enough competitors. And then we would have had random TVs in it. And it just really kind of dumbs down. Where this year, FOMO, we have 4 of the best TVs maybe ever made together. We have 2 Tandem RGB mini LEDs. Oh, somebody's vacuuming. And then we have 2 QD-OLEDs that are 4th gen. We have the best processing from Panasonic and Sony. We have Samsung's, 4th gen OLEDs. I mean, it's really going to be the most tight race we have ever seen. And I'm excited because FOMO, I think too many TVs, we almost had to ignore the mini LEDs. And why FOMO? Because when you calibrate these things to death, some of that processing helps the local dimming. Some of the processing helps the LEDs. And you take that away, and you're like, okay, there goes the dynamic tone mapping that helped that TV be bright. So we really strip them to nothing. You can strip these OLEDs to nothing, FOMO, and they look unbelievable anyway.
And that's another thing. That's another thing is whatever you guys see as the winner or the loser at the shootout, they're all calibrated with certain settings that you may never use, right? Because this is in a dark room, all the lights are off. So just keep that in mind, guys, that even if the TV you have is not a winner, but it's a contender, If it looks great in your room, I think that's the TV to get regardless.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, don't second guess. If you're enjoying your TV, then enjoy the hell out of it, you know?
Well, and guys, this is a professional reference shootout, which is why the reference monitor is there. So even my comparison that I did today and the comparisons FOMO does, there's no chance in the world that your TV will look like the ones at the shootout unless Classy Cecil is there calibrating it or Dwayne Davis is there calibrating it. So you're really looking at the TVs at their most basic and their most accurate. Most of you don't have that. So you're watching your TV in standard and you're like, come on, let's go G5. And that TV's out there in its boxers. And you're like, why didn't it win? And also, guys, the brute force brightness from these TVs doesn't really help them.
Yeah.
It's not going to be about that. And the content that they're using and the tests they're doing, the things that wow you aren't really going to be there. So it's like they're all going in there without any of their weapons to see how they do at their base form and their most accurate. So you guys
Yep.
might look at that and say, wow, these TVs all look exactly the same. That's why we push back on you guys as far as us doing calibration. I don't want them to look the same. I want a Samsung to look like a Samsung and an LG to look like an LG. And the manufacturers dictate FOMO, right? Like we said that with the Panasonic. Its dynamic tone mapping is enabled in most of its presets. Sony's is disabled or at least gradation preferred. That is
Right.
their signature. They want that.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why we allow these guys, not allow, but that's what these guys are doing. It's a totally different thing than what a lot of you guys are going to see at home.
Yeah, definitely. Dwayne and his team, they bring all the TVs back to reference. And the irony is, you may prefer it not to be referenced. I keep on telling you guys that. But you know what? We're going to have a lot of that discussion come the shootout because we're going to see these TVs in their natural environment. And we'll even kind of flip it between reference D65 and not reference. You guys can see the differences because all these TVs have multiple presets, right? You got the filmmaker mode or the professional mode or whatever mode. And then you have movie mode, which is the uncalibrated mode. So we'll have fun with that. And
Well,
HLE, thank you. Go ahead.
Hey, Jelly, how are you? No, go ahead, read it.
Oh, just real quick. Ali's been waiting patiently. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. So we wanted a new TV for our main living room. I ended up going with the LG G5 77-inch, and I got $800 off from LG and free installation. It's just got delivered today, but it's still sitting in the box. I want to make sure I made the right decision before I open the box. So Brian, you have the 83-inch. I have the 65-inch. So I'll start off because I think this is truly your keeper because my 65 inches, they come and they go, right? I keep what I feel is a reference performer to compare all TVs to it. And you guys have heard a lot of the issues that LG G5. All the TVs have issues, by the way, but the G5 had those near shadow or near black issues. First, it was black crushing. There's some color loss now in the near black. But why is it still my benchmark reference TV over any other TV? Because no other TV hits HDR impact as hard. And I'm going to include mini LED TVs as well. When you combine OLED contrast with LG's amazing tone mapping at the brightest levels, we're talking 2000 to 4000 nits, with its new primary RGB tandem OLED, it still beats the Bravia 9 and the QM8K. And I'm going to have a live stream I'll show you guys, right? But it has to be a reference for me to demonstrate HDR impact. Now, if I was doing shadow detail, it would not be the G5. That would be probably either the Sony or probably any Sony, the Bravia 9 or the Bravia 8 Mark II, most likely the Bravia 8 Mark II. But right now, the G5 represents best-in-class HDR impact. And you guys have seen it over and over in my various live streams. So that's why it's my reference TV for 2025 for that use case. So Ali, in a bright room, you chose the right TV. If you watch a lot of dark scenes, critical scenes, you may still be going through the early growing pains. It is not the best with that. I would choose the Panasonic Z95B. It's more balanced. It hits everything right between brightness and blackness, but then above average brightness, it cannot match the G5. So the G5 is a Ferrari that you need to take to the track. The Z95B is an amazing Porsche 911, does everything right. It just won't beat the Ferrari on the track. So that's kind of my analogy. Brian, what are your thoughts on his choice of the G5?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is this year more than it happens every year, but this year has been the worst so far. Is
Hmm.
every TV other than the Z95B is a work in progress. Then I would say, the Z95B and the Bravia 8 Mark II are the most refined. I think the Z95B is the most refined of all. Then again, it's
Hmm.
the last TV release. They had the most time, um, and they just keep everything very balanced. The G5 is like a muscle car. It's like a straightaway.
Yeah.
It is the brightest by far. I mean, it blows away the Z95B, which is very bright, and the S95F, and the way it showcases its brightness. But it might be a little bit to its detriment, and it's definitely a work in progress. They're still updating it. They don't know why they're updating it. They say to me like, "Hey, I sent you an update. Is an update? I don't even know what's going on with it." So it's a
Hmm.
little hard to recommend. But the problem is that's how I feel about all of them right now. They're all like the gaming industry, where it's like, yeah, multiplayer's a little messed up. Give me a day, I'll fix it. Now we've
And
always said,
go ahead.
but we've always said, FOMO, you cannot buy with the promise of fixing something. Well, the problem
Yeah.
is you won't be able to buy anything.
Hmm.
I mean, you have green tints on the LGs, you have magenta tints on the Sonys. Professional's way too dark on the Bravia 8 Mark II. They're going to fix that, but I can't promise you they're going to fix it. And unfortunately, that's nearly every TV.
Or
The only
wait.
companies, yeah.
They're gonna fix it. That kind of segues into this next
Yeah,
one.
so I
But
mean, so good example. So good example. Let's just say that. Look, I know we're laughing at it, but the fact of the matter is, having a TV that is lacking something you bought it for is a nightmare.
hmm.
It's a nightmare because look, I have 14 TVs here. Me and FOMO now have been in the business long enough to where TVs are coming and going. We don't fall in love. Even the ones we buy, I know aren't my forever TV. So even when I bought my G5, I wasn't super concerned. I'm not using it as much as you guys. It's just different how we look at these, even in the ones that are ours. But to take a feature away, especially on gamers who chose it for that reason, especially guys like Gaming Tech and those channels where they provide HDR settings,
Oh,
FOMO, the first thing they tell
okay.
you is
You know what?
HGIG.
I need to talk to Plasma Gaming TV because he
Oh, here we
loves
go.
his
Yeah,
S95F, S95D,
yeah,
S90D. I mean, he
yeah,
is QD-OLED Samsung gaming through and through, and I haven't reached out to him about this fiasco. But real
yeah. So
quick,
yeah, good.
before we forget, I want to wrap up for you, Ali. The most important point is what Sean said. LG is on sale. He got it for like $800 off. The TVs are close enough that I would take the savings. So I wouldn't fret it. Now, if they
Yeah,
were all the
yeah,
same
yeah.
price, that's a little bit tougher. You got $800 off. I think that they're paying you to say, you know what? Shadow detail isn't the best. It's good enough. Look the other way. Here's your 800 bucks. That's how
Well,
you should see it.
and Sean, here's the thing. Let's just say to you, you know what? The S95. Somebody in the chat tells you the S95F is great, and then the sun hits it and it turns white.
Hmm.
So that TV is actually unwatchable if the sun touches it. Now it can be in a bright room. It'll turn brown if it's bright in the room. So there are pluses and minuses to any. G5 is one of the leading TVs in the world, and I do have confidence that they're going to fix the issues. You may not even notice them. So I would do is unbox it, watch it, don't look at any forums, and just see what you think. You start hearing these certain things. Now you're looking for the problems. You may never have noticed them.
Yeah.
What's up,
And
Dennis?
here's a super chat from Dennis. And thank you for that super chat. Hi, any Samsung connects to help with an order mishap? So I guess he's asking if we have any insider Samsung connections and whatnot. I don't, because that is handled
Not
by logistics,
yeah,
ordering.
that's
No one at Samsung is going to help you here, my friend. I'm sorry. Beyond their customer service. So if it's an order mishap,
yeah,
hopefully, I
unfortunately.
mean, the easiest way, what I normally do is I take delivery, I start a return within the return window.
Yep.
That's it. That's the easiest way
Yeah.
because you get it, you have a return period, and this is in the US. I don't know if you're in the US, but in the US, they give you a certain return window. All the brands, if you order it direct from Samsung, right, there's a certain number of days. Make sure you return it within that window for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, and we have a lot of comments about Samsung. So our first topic, right, is the Samsung 1121 firmware fiasco. So let me set the stage, Brian. 1121 is
So,
not out in the
hey, what's
USA yet. There's now some people say they have received it. I haven't. So I have the Q90F that Samsung sent me to review. I have a loaner unit. It's a 98 inch, right? And by the way, I love it. I love the 98 inch. It cures all ills, is in my opinion. It looks amazing because it's in a bright room. It's not my normal dark studio. I have it in another part of the studio, which is windows everywhere. I wanted to test the anti-glare. Works better, obviously, than my 85-inch QM8K that I had there, because you can see the windows in my review of the 85-inch QM8K. You cannot see it here. And I was like, wow. And of course, it's bright enough and so forth. So I tried to force an over-the-air update. I'm not as brave as KG, who downloaded the
on his
Korean
own on his own
1121
TV.
on his own TV, right?
Yeah.
He downloads the Korean firmware, he uploads it on his S95F, and now he's got a TV with no HGIG. And it's already rolled out in Korea. It's apparently rolled out in Europe, but they stopped it. They took it offline, I'm hearing, but it's still live in Korea. So I don't know if that is them saying, wait, maybe we should not roll it out in the US. But then I had some commenter on my video saying, no, I just had an over-the-air update in the USA. So I don't know. I didn't get it yet. So maybe it's a staggered rollout. But Brian, let me ask you. Wait, let me tell you about my theory. So Samsung needs to tune their TV for the shootout. This shootout is very important to them. Every year, since they've introduced QD-OLED, they have come so close to the Sony, and they've only lost by like 0.2. We're talking a 1 percentage point behind the Sony, and so and every year they call in calibrators to help them, right? And so they've asked Cecil, the Classy, right? Our
You're putting this out there
to fly over there and help them out so they could update it. And so I'm thinking, Brian, how much of this is Classy's fault?
Dude, Classy is basically like, when you go into a car and you start taking out things for the weight. It's like, you don't need this, you don't need that.
you lighten the software load. No. Now, Classy obviously loves HGIG, right? Classy loves HGIG. So I can see him saying, guys, you got to lighten the load somewhere. They're like, okay. So some guy runs in, starts pulling stuff out, not telling Classy what he's pulling out. We lighten the software. It's much snappier now.
Yeah. We figured it out. Okay.
Yeah, there's no spare tire. And yes, it's running on bare rims.
FOMO. They're like, so they do gaming in the shootout? No. All right. Get that out of there.
That's exactly. Do they game?
Want to put in Dolby Vision?
There it goes.
Dolby Vision. Oh man, I know we're laughing at it. Look, and
again, tell me if you guys have an S90F, S90D, S95D, S95F, QN90D, right? If you have any of those and you auto update and didn't realize what happened, let me know if you got the 1121, because I tried. Now, Reap is saying it's still on firmware 1042. And I still have 1042. I'm trying to update it, Reap. We don't know if it'll roll out, but some people are saying it has. So let me see. And hey, David, thank you for that question. Like, hi, guys, new to the channel, looking to purchase a 98-inch TV, going from an 83-inch Sony A90J, which is a great TV, to either the 98 QM8K or the Bravia 5. Can't justify 97 yet. 25,000, 24,000 is crazy. Which do you recommend? So Brian has seen the 98-inch, right? Bravia 5, Brian? You've seen the...
Yeah, and it's excellent. It's excellent.
It's excellent. So
but
it's shadow detail, skin tones, cinema, one setting, and you're done, that's the Bravia 5. I highly recommend that for 99% of streaming, movie, cinema. It doesn't matter. It gets it right. Put it on professional mode, expert one, don't look back. On the other hand, if you're showing off Jennifer Gala and you want to raise the temperature of your room a little bit because it hits those bright scenes, the full 5,000 nits or 4,000 nits or 6,000 nits, the 98-inch QM8K will do that. And seriously, it's going to hit it hard. And so the question is, are you getting a one-trick sports car? And the QM8K looks pretty good everywhere else, but its skin tones are going to change depending on the settings, and you have to play with that settings all the time. It's quirky, right? It's one of those European sports cars that's quirky.
It's like how Samsung used to be.
Yeah, The
Type
Bravia
of
5 is
vibe.
like a Lexus, right? It works all the time on everything. It's just not the best, but it
Yeah.
really is a good TV at the 98-inch size.
Well, and
So,
look,
Brian, what are your thoughts?
The Bravia 5 is better at 98 than it is at the other sizes. So I do think it's better than what the X90L was. But if you think about where it sits in the lineup, the QM8K is their flagship for the most part. We don't really count the X11 or the QM9K until it shows up. But the local dimming, the peak brightness, the borderless, the design, the audio, the gaming, it just is a fully featured TV. And the Bravia 5 is kind of bare minimum. It
Hmm.
is still the entry level in their mini LED lineup. Maybe the Bravia 7 if it was that big, or the Bravia 9, but it's very hard to choose the Bravia 5 over the flagship from even from Hisense. They're just
Yeah,
too fully equipped with their zone counts. The processing will still go to Sony anyway, but it's just not enough. I mean, the
yeah,
QM8K is competing with like the QN990F. It's not competing with an X90L. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a big difference. I would never,
definitely.
it's very good,
And
but it's
yeah,
better than an X90L and it's better than a smaller Bravia 5, but it's a big delta to say it's going to compete with the best from those other manufacturers.
and FROM, I know you're looking for it. It's not on
No
the
problem.
USA Samsung website. It is
Yeah.
on the Korean native national Samsung website. That's where KG got it. But don't go hunting it down. You're going to be tempted to upload it, and then you're going to say, I told you so, it doesn't work. We don't want that. And I like Michael's perspective. HGIG was huge back in the day. It's not like saying
Michael,
Zenith was
back in
really a
the
good brand back in the day.
back in my day with the
You know
Xbox
what? Let's talk
era.
about HGIG, quote unquote, back in the day. Brian, now I want to give some more context. So this comment is pretty good. So uh, if you are a Switch 2 fan, and one-eyed Kaneki says, don't forget, everyone, for Nintendo Switch 2, HGIG mode is a
It's a
necessity
very
for HDR calibration. And
well,
we know HDR calibration is a nightmare on the Switch
well,
2,
yeah.
like a
I'll
thousand
take
clicks before you get
yeah.
there.
I'll take this one. And you're right. I mean, Vincent's who I mean, like my man segued into like gaming videos hardcore. He did an amazing job with the Switch 2. I was looking to purchase it. And when he was going through the nightmare it was to make it look like it had HDR, like you said, it was like 80 clicks over here, but you needed HGIG to be enabled. Well, only the G5 at this point. Well, not the G5. I think what Hisense TCL has HGIG. The implementation's
TCL,
not
yes, they
just
do.
not
I
great.
tested
We
it.
don't love the way it looks. But for the moment, it was TCL, LG, and Samsung, and Samsung apparently doesn't have it anymore. So, well, all I'll say to you guys is that we do have contacts at Samsung. FOMO has already sent them emails. They're looking into it, but you guys have to understand how massive these companies are,
Yeah.
and Korea is literally dictating things.
Oh, actually,
So,
let me add more context. It's a really good point. It's so massive that Samsung USA has no idea what's happening at Samsung Europe, Samsung UK, Samsung Korea, right? Samsung
the
Malaysia,
same with
Samsung
TCL and
Australia,
Hisense are the same way. They're all the
right?
same way.
And so when I advise them, this thing that's rolling out in Korea, and I explain them what's happening, I go, you guys, when it rolls out in the USA, and normally it's a when, make sure you know this is happening so you can tell the Korean headquarters that the minute it hits the US shores, you're going to have a reviewer slash creator uprising where YouTube will only have bad news. I mean, right now, it's just the Korean consumers, unfortunately, who are very upset, gamers, right? But the US are kind of fearful. And this is why we're telling people to unplug. And so it's very important that the Samsung USA division lets Samsung Korea know. And here's the irony: Samsung Korea gets their US news by watching us. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
in my video,
Hi,
this
everybody.
live stream, hey Korea, this live
Come
stream,
on, what are you doing? Come on.
KG's video, they're like, wait,
Ah,
why is FOMO so upset? What is this with 1121? Who unplugged HGIG, right?
Frank, what the hell are you
So
doing? Like,
what are you upset FOMO? What's happening?
I'm telling you, when FOMO, for you guys that need a history lesson, when FOMO was in the doghouse with Sony, he was, and this was probably what, 5 years ago? It was like
This was the X900H. I still remember. It was the
X900H was
X900H.
it was the only thing about this at the time. It was the only TV from Sony that had HDMI 2.1, I believe. and it had VRR. So FOMO is just like going through he goes, it's gone. So FOMO goes on, does a video on it. Dude, he gets killed by everybody for being like, the hot takes. And Sony's like, no, it's still there. I don't know if they ever really figured it out, but they tried to say, and we love Sony, they tried to say that somebody like in Mexico was like, click.
They never found out who deleted VRR, by the way.
They
They
deleted
never
it.
found out. They deleted because they
man.
have these tables. That's for the public, right? Now, all the different models, all the features on the
Yeah.
X900H, VRR was no longer there. I was like, well, it's official. It's a Sony site. And then Sony's like, oh, it was a mistake. So they
Somebody
woke
was
up,
working late.
our friend Rob Bren, who was working at Sony at the time, woke him up first thing Saturday morning. He spent his entire weekend hunting down the guy who did it. First, making sure it wasn't a mistake. It was a mistake. They tried to hunt down the guy, never found him. And they tried to tell me it was a mistake, but they didn't have my phone number. And so
They were
they
like,
didn't know who to
"Send
tell.
him in."
It was a mistake.
Dude,
And ever since then, Sony's had difficulty talking to me. They couldn't look me in the eye for a while.
They were like FOMO, I remember you. He's like, I never
You
met
kept
you
me
before.
up all night.
Oh no, that was a whole weekend.
Let me
Oh, my
explain what HGIG is for
God.
everyone. So thank you, Efron. We just take it for granted, you guys know. So HGIG stands for HDR Gaming Interest Group, right? HDR Gaming Interest Group. So it's a group of gaming companies, hardware, software, and TV makers, right? Everyone involved in HDR gaming. So HGIG, the H in HGIG is HDR and then G for gaming interest group. So this group are just volunteers, Samsung, Sony, LG, Panasonic. I don't know if Panasonic's in, I think they're in it, but definitely Samsung, LG, and Sony. And they're gaming companies, right? Software developers and all of that. Okay, so it's just a bunch of them, including Microsoft. And they all get together and they're saying, okay, HDR is a mess. What is the best way to deliver creators' intent? And so they had some strategies. One of them is to offload tone mapping information, rather let the TV tone map, because they think the TVs are all doing different things. Why don't we hand over most of that tone mapping control to the game engine, that is the console or the PC or whatever, and then that will be most accurate. So HGIG, if you do all the clicks properly, now, and every click represents, I don't know, I'm going to make this up, say 100 nits, right? So 20 clicks equals 1800 nits, something like that, right? And so when you calibrate the HDR with those clicks, you're matching the bright crosshairs or the bright arrows to the white and then the black. You're telling the console how bright your TV can get. And when you're doing that in HGIG mode, your TV's not tone mapping this, right? It's clipping at its correct clipping point, right? It's not trying to tone map it down and cheat. And so the console knows that, okay, your TV is realistically capable of this. Let us decide how much brightness to send to your TV, so that way your TV has all the information and you don't lose color. So the whole point of HGIG is to get to the brightest point possible without losing color accuracy. Because oftentimes, if you put on dynamic tone mapping, you get brighter, but it's bright white. So everything looks like clouds in the sky, right? It's either bright or gray.
It brightens
Right.
everything.
Yeah, it's white and gray, but there's no yellow, there's no blue, right? And so HGIG brings all that color back, but it might not be as bright as you want it. And so that's the theory. Now, don't assume that it works well on all TVs. LG has had the reputation of having the best implementation of HGIG, whereas Sony and Samsung, it depends on the model, depends on what you do. You might have to change more settings to get it there, but ultimately, it's not as simple as people had thought it would be. It should have been how LG does it. Just turn on HGIG and everything works. And that's another thing. If you go to the hgig.org website, it specifically says, we are not recommending a button, guys. Don't have a button that says HGIG. This is how it should be. So when you go into game mode, this is where you start, and then you can change stuff from there. I mean, that's what they're saying, that it's not a feature, quote unquote. It is best practice guidelines. But, you know what? TV companies suddenly made it into a button. Because I talked to Brian. So what happens when you turn the button off? It's like sucky game mode. I mean, you should always start with that. And then you turn the dynamic tone mapping, all those things. Because I understand when you have dynamic tone mapping on, you're over brightening on purpose because you're in a bright room or you play with the gamma, right? Everything changes, whatever. But when you turn HGIG off, well, what the heck is that? That's like no quality game mode,
Mine is
low
minus.
quality,
Yeah.
minus HDR,
Yeah.
right? So, but you know, that's for a different discussion. Anyway, hopefully that kind of clear things up for many of you what HGIG is. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, so most important for you guys in its best implementation, what you'll see is say like Horizon Zero Dawn, some of the games where it's supported, fully supported. If you look up at the skybox and you hit dynamic tone mapping, everything will be bright. It may still look very good. It'll just be overly brightened. If you turn dynamic tone mapping off, this is on LG, for instance, because there is a toggle. It may look flat. It may look not as bright. If you turn on HGIG and games that support it, there's times where it's brighter than dynamic tone mapping. That's when you know it's really working. You'll see more detail in the clouds. It'll really, honestly, look better. And when you guys see that and fall in love with that, it's very hard to go back. And Samsung, when you enable HGIG, you lock out the other presets FOMO. But the HGIG from Samsung looks like a very accurate but bright game mode. It's actually their best game mode. So when you go in and you play with standard and RTS and all those, they look too cartoony, they look too dark. Their HGIG implementation is actually very good, and now that that's gone, it sucks. And I'm sorry, and we're just trying to figure it out for you guys.
And Corey makes a good point. So the console sends no information to the TV. So without HGIG, you have no way to disable double tone mapping. So HGIG is supposed to be tone mapping off. It will just clip when it cannot handle the brightness, right? So let's say your TV could go up to 1,000 nits, and above 1,000 nits, all that color starts to disappear, and that's why they say it's clipping, right? It means that all the information is just bright white light. It cannot show it. And tone mapping brings that brightness down, so the colors are there, but double tone mapping is not what you want, where the console is tone mapping and your TV is tone mapping. Now it's really dim. So having HGIG mode is essentially turning off tone mapping and letting the console do what it needs to do.
Well, and if you watch our guy Marcus from Gaming Tech, and he does these great HDR videos, you know, when he goes in and he shows you that HGIG is on, what you'll see is the rest of the brightness will come down, but like the specular highlights, the light, the sun, it will actually be very bright. When DTM is enabled, the entire thing is bright, and that specular highlight sometimes is dimmed down. So it really makes it pop, and it sucks. There's just no way around it. It sucks, and I'm sorry for you guys that are affected. I have two Samsungs here I have not checked yet. But look, this is the worst part about Samsung TVs. You can't just ignore the update. That does not work. They will force them. So if you want to you need to take it offline, which means that you cannot use its smart features, which Tizen is the best operating system out there for the most part. But I've had Samsung TVs for years, and I'll put don't auto update, and that bad boy will be there. That's not a conspiracy. That happens. And once it happens, it's not a graphics card. You can't roll it back. So get yourself an Apple TV and take it offline.
And now what I want to do next, Brian, so I think everyone has an idea of and by the way, Brian, not you, Brian, but Brian with a Y. Thank you for the super chat.
Come on.
Question. We'll wait for your question.
Nobody calls Brian with a Y brain. It's only with the IA, the dyslexic. My mom calls me brain.
What I want to do is, you and I, we were waiting to have this discussion, which is our opinion. What is the best TV of 2025? I think all the TVs are out there. We've seen them all, whether it's mini LED, whether it's OLED, QD-OLED, doesn't matter. We've seen it all. And I think we're missing strong opinions about what we think is the best.
We're missing a few, but those are from TCL. And
the QM9K, that's not supposed to exist.
QM9K and the UN9 U9Q. We haven't seen
U9Q. I don't think. Yeah, I mean it's neither the QM9K nor the U9Q have been confirmed. Although we've heard it in the ether, like in Europe, they have a C9K, which is supposed to be our QM9K. And Hisense has mentioned there's a U9, but we don't know when that launch date or that release
Yeah,
date
I mean,
is.
I filmed it in New York. I mean,
But I'll tell you this,
and
Brian, there's
yeah,
no way they're going to beat a QD-OLED this year. So these are at 98 inches. Yes, they will. That's
yeah.
the de facto flagship for us. But at 83 inches and below, I don't think the QM9K or the U9Q is going to beat the G5 at 83
Well, well,
inches with
well,
primary
and
RGB OLED.
so this is where we get in trouble when we talk in our videos. You know, I've called the QM8K the flagship and the U8Q the flagship. And oh no. Guys, until those TVs release, that is the best TV they have. Right? If you
Yeah,
want to count the 116 UX, which is a Fantasyland TV, and that TV, as amazing as it is, still doesn't beat OLEDs.
yeah.
It doesn't. It's 8,000 nits and it's amazing, but it's still, so we have to account for the group that showed up to play. What's up,
Yes.
Brian? Is this the Brian?
This is the Brian with a question.
He looks pissed off in his profile pic. He probably just changed it. He's like,
He's like,
"What's up, bro?"
I just sold my TV. I had to sell my A95L. I just had to.
Uh,
I bought an LG G5. Good choice. Hardcore game, esports. Okay, that is hardcore. And I'm a cinephile. Oh, that's tough. The LG is great, but the banding is terrible. Yes, all the issues raised by everyone who's seen it. But the gaming is so much better. I'm stuck. Recommendations. Okay, this
yeah,
is such a good discussion because
it's hard.
this is where everything is at. Now, before we jump into our answer, I think Brian's answer will be different from mine. I have to make this quick shout out to Ruipro, who's sponsoring this live
What's up?
stream. Brian and we use Ruipro HDMI optical cables. And I know you guys have copper, short runs fine, but if it's 9 feet or longer and you're looking for an optical cable, I recommend Ruipro. And why would you use an optical cable when it's longer than 9 feet? Because copper gets really heavy and it weighs down, it pulls out of your plug. More importantly, driving copper, a signal that long, overheats your
Got my
HDMI
box
plug.
right here. Got
There
the
you
box
go.
right here.
So yeah, if you guys are looking for a optical cable, I use Ruipro for all of my reviews and I bring it along. I'm bringing it to the shootout. It's very reliable. I like it, and they stand behind their product. Okay, so back
They're
to Brian's
HDMI 2.2 ready.
Yes. Yeah, you
OLEDs.
could switch out the header, which is kind of crazy, right? Okay, so I'll start, but I think you're going to be answering this a bit more thoroughly than me. It comes down to Cinephile versus the ultimate gaming TV. I'll start with the Cinephile, the Panasonic Z95B. I believe at 77 inches, it doesn't go up to 83. Okay, so if you need 83, Brian, you only have the G5 or the Samsung S95F. But as a hardcore gamer, seeing them take away HGIG in Korea, you know what? Let's stick with the G5 for now at the 83-inch size. But at 77 inch, cinephiles will love the Panasonic Z95B. I believe that this is a great TV because it also games very well. But is it esport, meaning does it have the highest refresh rates? No. Only the G5 can do 165 consistently for PC gamers. I know arguably Samsung could do it too, but I don't like the One Connect box. I think it's an extra point of failure for those hardcore gamers. So for me, hardcore gamer, G5, get it calibrated. So that's kind of like my compromise is I'll get the G5, but I'll get it professionally calibrated to mitigate some of those issues. And then the calibrator, whether it's Classy or one of the many experts out there, they know what settings to help minimize these issues. They'll say, hey, put it in this mode, do this, this, this. But ultimately, no TV is perfect, but there is a TV perfect for your most important use case. And in this case, it's gaming. Start with the G5. The other TVs might be slightly better, but if you said your priority was being a cinephile, then I'd go with the Panasonic Z95B first. Because I think its gaming is fine, but it doesn't have that refresh rate. What is your choice and selection, Brian?
Well, and the Panasonic, though it's got excellent gaming, there is no HGIG on it, and it also doesn't have any flexibility of image. So a lot like Sony, I hope you like the game mode because you can't change it a whole lot. where you can really do a lot with LG's game modes. The challenge you're having is, and I don't know which kind of banding you're dealing with. WOLEDs do have worse vertical banding. There's different banding. Is it vertical banding? Is it banding color banding that you're seeing? It's what they've reported. Banding inherently is the panel. So if it's that kind of banding that you're seeing, like I had on other OLEDs in the past, that's permanent. If this is the color banding, they can fix it. They've gone out of their way to try to fix it in certain presets, but I would hold on to it. If you love the G5, the other TVs do not look like the G5. So the A95L is great. It's never going to touch the G5 in terms of HDR impact, and it's getting up there in age. So I would hang in there. And the problem with the S95F, I don't know what to tell you. Is it cutting on and off? I can't hear it.
Get your mic closer to your lips. There you go, right there. There you go. Perfect. Just literally press it into your lips. But yeah, that works.
Yeah. So the S95F at 83 inches, if that's the size you're at, it's hard to recommend because it's one of one. If there's an issue with that TV, Samsung is not going to update that one RGB tandem OLED. It's going to just be what it is. So it's really hard to recommend. That TV is just kind of a unicorn, and it's really hard to deal with it. What's up, Jimmy? But Brian, that said, I would be patient and hold on to it. If it's just a color banding, I think they're going to fix it. If it's a vertical banding and it's in the panel, that's going to be a tough. So run some banding tests between 15, 12% gray on YouTube and tell me what you see.
Yeah.
That's
now,
different.
Before we tell you what our favorite TV or best TV, Matt Daddy tells us we need to consider all factors, not just picture quality. And that is what we're going to do, is what's the context? What's the use case? And I know you guys may have saw my Panasonic Z95B video where I said this is the TV for me, and I explained why in that video. So let me tell you what my best TV is. First of all, you start with what is your room lighting situation, right? If my room is completely dark or mostly dark, light control, right, dim enough, and I watch only, let's say, Netflix, but I only have access to 1080p, right? I don't have 4K, I don't have HDR, it's just 1080p SDR. That would justify a different TV than having a completely dark room where it's 4K HDR, right? Kaleidoscope, only the best quality, versus, oh, I just watch YouTube, old TV shows, Bonanza, Wild Wild West, whatever. So what is the context?
Don't try to switch out that Columbo, baby, with the Bonanza.
Columbo.
That's some Bonanza.
And,
he was like saying Bonanza.
I just like saying Bonanza.
I like it, Tony. Bonanza. What's up,
low bit rate processing, right, with what YouTube TV, sports, all that taken into consideration. So with that in mind, Matt Daddy, I'll tell you this. I need it to be in a bright room because the TV I want, mixed use. Sure, at night I could turn off the lights, but it's also being watched during the day, and there's lights everywhere, right? That's one. Second is I do appreciate immersion more now, right? So I want a larger TV, and it has to go up to 83, 85 inches. And lastly, I watch a lot of sports. College football is my thing, and I just enjoy just everything about it. Just the brightness in a bright room. It's normally during the day, and I want to hear the announcers. I'm going to turn up the volume, right? I'm going to have it in a bigger room. So for me, in my mixed use entertainment room, at the 85-inch size, I would get the Bravia 9. That's my best TV because I like it getting loud. I don't have a dedicated audio system in this room. But that's that.
What's your favorite TV of the year? Z9D.
Right.
Mine is Toyota Supra from Fast and the Furious. No, I mean this year. Yeah, that's the one I want.
And the reason is, you guys saw how I struggle with the settings.
Is the Bravia 9 your favorite TV of this year?
For 85-inch size, absolutely. It's you put it in professional.
We're going size specific.
Well, yeah, because like the Panasonic, if it came in 83-inch, I choose it right away. It stops at 77. Oh. So for the 85-inch size for a larger room, if it costs no object, it's a Bravia 9. I don't have to plug in any soundbar or whatever. It's just great. I turn it up, and my wife doesn't. Okay, if I didn't have a family, I can sit with the settings and twiddle with it and done. But
Get out of here,
wife and
everybody.
kids, they're not going to touch the settings. Whatever I leave for them, they're going to watch. So I leave it in a bright room, standard mode. I leave it there with all the settings that I perfected for them. I know that in everything they watch, it's going to look awesome. Doesn't matter, dark room, bright room, it's going to look great. QM9K, not QM9K, QM8K, U7 or U8, doesn't matter. Every scene, SDR, HDR, I'm going to go in there and help them out with gamma or something. I don't want to do that. So with a Sony, whether it's an OLED or a mini LED, you kind of set it and forget it. I love that. But notice I didn't mention gaming. This is, my kids will plug in a PS5 and they'll love it. It's fine. It works. But so that's for me. Brian, what about for you?
Well, I'll go to what I think the best overall TV this year. I'm not going to base it on what I would buy because my choices are limited. Clearly, I wanted the largest OLED. That's what I have. So whether it's perfect or not, that would mean I'm still recommending the G5. I think the best TV this year is the Panasonic Z95B. All around refinement. I like the design. I like the sound.
Wait, which one, Brian?
The Z95B.
Z9.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, the
It's my favorite
Panasonic.
TV this year.
There you go.
As far as the best TV overall, as far as image quality, processing, how good it looks right now, sound, gaming, it is a beautiful TV. It takes everything the G5 does well and just smooths out the edges. That's a TV that I would say is the best overall. My most recommended TV, though, FOMO, the one I think that'll be the TV of the year is the QM6K, man, from the TCL.
Oh wow, that's not yeah.
As far as a value,
yeah.
I mean, the reason why I say that is no matter what TV I recommend, say it's a 77-inch, Z95B, but then there's a 100-inch QM6K there. You're like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are going to, it's so scalable. We talk about that, FOMO. If there's a size for everybody between TCL and Hisense, that's really hard to ignore. So I'm careful recommending these TVs because some of you guys have done this. I remember when the A95K was the big TV, FOMO. A lot of our guys bought those TVs. And what was the original QD-OLED? The S90B? Was that the first one?
Yep, S95B, 2022.
We had guys buy those that really wanted a larger TV, that just wanted the best TV. Well, that again goes back into your point. What's the best TV for you? Right? So when it comes into a TV that you can go buy for $2,000 at 100 freaking inches, that's a TV I recommend. But as far as my favorite TV this year, as far as refinement, image quality, checks all the boxes, it's the Z95B. And I get what you guys are saying of the Panasonic. And
that would answer John's question. The best OLED for a medium bright room would be the Panasonic Z95B, correct? Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's the way they have their settings, guys. They have 10 freaking presets. They're all different from one another. They have professional 1, 2. They're a cinemaphile enough, but their design might turn some of you off. I don't know why the Amazon thing turns you guys off. I think all the operating systems are terrible. They're all bad. But for me, it's a Z95 this year. Typically, I've been with G4 last year. The G5, even though I own it, is just there's too many unresolved issues to say just get it. And unfortunately, that's kind of the organic world we're in, FOMO. It changes every freaking day. Or like what we said, if we did a video saying best gaming TV, that would have been the S90F or the S95F. What are you going to go take that video down?
Right.
So it's unfortunate these things are organic, but that's the way gaming is, and it's kind of the same way.
And Matt Daddy says, and this is a great request, Matt Daddy. Brian, can you get Val Electronics to buy a bunch of 77-inch Z95Bs and offer us fans a huge discount? Well, Matt Daddy, we are going to have Robert Zohn in a few minutes. Let's ask him at that point. Yeah, he's going to be here. So yeah, let's ask Val Electronics. Robert Zohn, owner, operator of Val Electronics, and also the founder of the annual King of TV's TV Shootout. The first one was 2004. Can you believe it's been, 11 years? 2004? No, 21 years? Oh my God.
It's 20-something years. Yeah, but I mean, they've had the winners. They've had Sharp won 1 year. They had Samsung's Plasma won 1 year. Panasonic used to win. LG won. That's what's funny about the thing about Sony wins too much. LG, I think, had 4 or 5 years in a row, but they were the only OLED at the time. So,
Yep.
it makes sense. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
And it does come in a 77-inch Z95B Panasonic. Check on Amazon or check with Robert at Value Electronics. If you check
it
with
comes in
him and you order
77.
from him, you could also ask him or Dwayne Davis to calibrate it so you can get the perfectly, and he'll even check for uniformity, all that good stuff, so that you get a great TV when you get it home out of the box. Okay, now best for size, 65-inch Bravia 8 Mark II, 77-inch Z95B, 83-inch G5, 85-inch is Bravia 9, and 98-inch 100-inch is either the QM8K or the 100-inch U75QG. Okay, so at the 65-inch size, you actually have two TVs to choose from. You could go with the Bravia 8 Mark II or the Z95B. So they both come in 65-inch. Sony
Did a comparison of them
adherent. Yeah, Sony adherence will go with the Sony. And if you don't have any loyalties, you might go with the Panasonic. I will do it this way. In a dark room, the Sony will definitely stand on its own. In a bright room, you're going to have a problem. And, ooh, hey, someone's calling in. 1 second.
Well, and guys, what we did the comparison between Panasonic and Sony today is Panasonic is the more accurate. They don't add that extra processing. So they do look very different from time to time. Is Robert jumping in?
There he is.
Robert.
Robert.
What's up, brother?
Welcome. We were just talking about you, Robert. How are you?
Let's give him the proper
Yeah, Brian.
super middle,
you are the intro. Go for it.
In the super middleweight division, standing at 6'3", the legendary, the Robert Zohn, the icon, the founder and creator of the Value Electronics King of TV Shootout, and the owner of Value Electronics, Mr. Robert Zohn. What is up, my friend?
Hi, Robert. Glad you could make it.
Did you hear any of that?
Wait, Brian, am I on?
Robert,
Robert, can you hear us? All right.
Thank you, and thanks for making me to join
Hey, Robert, they were already asking this question literally a few minutes before you came up. Matt Daddy says, can you get Value Electronics to buy a bunch of 77-inch Z95B and offer us fans a huge discount for a group buy? So, Robert, you are a dealer for Panasonic this year, right? The amazing Z95B is available through Value Electronics, not just Amazon, right?
Well, you and Brian have already pushed me. I think I have to answer from here and not listen to that. Well, go with it.
There we go. And I'm hoping there's going to be a shootout deal the weekend of the shootout. So depending who the winner is, I cannot wait for Sunday. So let me go over the kind of agenda, the gameplay of events for everyone who just joined us. So we have the shootout coming up this Sunday. Let me throw this up real quick. And Saturday, July 26th at 10 a.m.
Up the day?
I know people are going to show up on Sunday. Where to go? Saturday, July 26th, 2025, King of TV Shootout. It is at Value Electronics, and Brian and I will be there hosting, and we will, normally it's about 6 to 8 hours. So we start at 10 a.m. Somewhere around 4 to 5 p.m., we're going to have the results, and then Brian and I will start arguing over why we were wrong, because we have yet to be right in our predictions. And we're going to predict. Now that Robert is here, 3 years straight, I've predicted the wrong TV, so don't trust me. As far as
and then when his last time we found out, and I'm like, what? Robert,
Brian's like,
tell us,
G4 for the win.
So Robert, tell us, really, how long has the shootout been going on? What year did you start it?
Yeah. It was 2004. So this is our
right.
21st year.
Nice.
And we've never missed 1 year, 21 years in a row. Every new model year, starting with 2004. So it's been a lot of fun. And by the way, we do the calibrated mode, and we also do the best picture mode out of the box.
Yep.
And we vote for that as well. We also
Are we doing a bright room this year,
And we
Robert?
also do high ambient light. Yes, we do.
And Robert, we added
Okay.
streaming last year, right? Was it streaming? Did we add that last year? Was that
Um,
streaming, or
I
was that
wish
goes
we
for that
did.
goes for
I'm
out of the
not
box?
sure we're doing streaming this year. I really want to, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
It's
positive.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, because we can't use the reference, but I think that also became part of the out of the box thing. But Robert, I know you've seen many champions over the years. We've had Sony the last number of years. But for those of it that don't know, tell me some of your favorite past winners that really kind of stand out. Because I know LG's been in it, Samsung has won,
Yes.
so has Sharp. What's
Yes.
some of your
You
favorite
know what?
TVs?
They've all won. These are premium brands, and
Yeah.
they build beautiful world class TV. Now, Panasonic won 2 years in a row with their plasma TVs in 2012. They won, and I don't know if it was 13 or 2011. And
It was
I
the
kept them.
VT50, Robert. The
That's
VT50.
right.
We looked it up. It was the VT50. Yep.
That's right. And I kept the winners because I loved them so much. And I
Yeah.
still have them. One is
Oh,
set up in a spare bedroom. They're beautiful.
And
yeah.
I think that Samsung plasma won 1 year too, right? That bright plasma, the
Yes.
F. I can't remember the name of it, but very
Yes.
cool.
Yes. Samsung won 2013 or 14.
Now, Robert, I
Now,
think I
So
know. I know.
they won 2 years in a row. They won both
So
years.
we know that mini LEDs are not going to be in it this year, which I think is good. But I think
Yeah.
you're looking at probably the tightest race of
I
these
know.
four manufacturers. I love that there's
Thank you
two
for bringing
RGB.
that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think
You can't make a mistake here.
no.
These
I
are
mean,
all world class. Now
well,
there
I
are
love.
differences, and again, as FOMO so perfectly said, and you have too. Let's pick the one that matches your use case and or your likings,
well,
and
speaking
that's
of
a
use
big
case,
part of the
I
way
just
you
put up
use
the
the TV
voting.
shootout
Yeah,
voting
Robert, I put up the
ballots.
voting. I put up the voting
Thank you.
categories for HDR.
That's
So this
right.
is
Oh, awesome.
what they're going to vote for, right?
That's
And
right.
this will, now what I love is the general consumer, which is me, Brian, and everyone else here. If you don't plan to get it calibrated, right? Even though Robert offers an amazing deal for calibration, if you don't plan to get it calibrated, look at the
Yes.
consumer, general consumer, bright living room, out of the box. Now, this is where I think QD-OLED is going to fall behind. This is where the Bravia 8 Mark II, if it's only barely ahead of the Z95B,
I
it will
know.
lose to the Z95B right here.
Yeah.
Out of the box accuracy, bright living room. I think that Panasonic could win, but it just depends on how far ahead Sony, and I'm just saying Sony because every year Sony's been winning, but who knows, maybe Samsung is far ahead, but how far
That's
ahead do the
right.
QD OLEDs get before they
That's
hit
right.
bright living room? And the reason I say that, in the bright living room, as you saw in our live stream, earlier in the year at Value Electronics, all the QD OLEDs kind of lit up in terms of the contrast dropped,
Yep.
the slightly darker scenes lifted blacks, it became brown, right? And so this is going to be huge because these judges are pretty critical. And so when they see that, like, ooh, I can't stand that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
it's going to be fun.
Robert, if you think back to when LG won and Panasonic won, it was like plasma versus LCDs back then.
That's right.
And even over
That's
the years, it's been LG was the only OLED in those battles. And in the last couple of years, we've had QD OLEDs with
yes.
going against MLA, but LG was alone. For only 2 years that they have MLA. I'm excited to see RGB primary tandem
Yeah.
OLEDs, two of them, go
Yes.
against fourth gen QD OLEDs. You're talking about like there's
Yes.
no W OLED that's not ready to battle. So you have the
Yes.
brightest and the best processing with all of these manufacturers. They all
Yes.
have amazing processing. I think it's going to be the tightest race ever.
Hmm.
Yes. You know, every year
And
the TVs do get better, but this is another
Yeah,
big upgrade year. And the
absolutely.
panels are much better, and they even have, upgraded the processors to take full advantage. I did want to mention something. Thanks to FOMO and Brian, you guys have always pushed me to give an extra discount, especially to your customers.
yes,
Always.
And we have
yes.
right now, we have the exclusive 10% discount, 10%, I'm sorry, store credit for all the Panasonic Z95Bs, for all the LG G5s in every screen size, and for the Bravia 8 Mark II. we give you a 10% store credit on each one of those for any screen size.
Yeah.
We're the only retail that does that. And then there's a few more things that we do that I can tell you about when you call me in person, your customers. So thanks to
Robert,
FOMO and Brian, you guys care about your customers. And you beat me up nicely and politely.
We've
firmly.
tenderized it.
We tenderize
firmly.
Robert,
Good job, I must say.
Robert, tell the community though, they are buying from a true mom and pop. It's you, Leanne. It's truly a family business, you, Wendy. But also, it's not like these TVs are being shipped from your garage. You get them from distributors all over the country. We had a guy in here asking about how do you ship them. Just tell us a little bit about, you do still use the same distributors a lot of other manufacturers use. So can you just clarify that they're not being shipped from Scarsdale specifically unless they're being calibrated?
That's right, correct. So we deliver locally, the tri-state area, and we also ship nationwide if we're going to QC and calibrate them, as you said. Mm-hmm. But each manufacturer, because we're their highest level, so we're LG prestigious Pinnacle dealers.
Diamond
with Sony Diamond dealers. So because of these statuses that we have, they ship from their warehouses, their distribution warehouses.
Yep.
There's 7 warehouses across the country, logistically located. So the TVs don't travel far and they get to you quickly.
Yep.
And each brand does that for us as a courtesy.
And all Robert, all manufacturers follow, or all retailers follow the manufacturer roadmap, which is why a lot of people can match. You can match anything that someone sends as long as it's legit. So
we do. It's automatic. So Costco, BJ's, whatever it is.
And it's just not TVs that have
price. Amazon, we're all the same price.
Well, and I mean, like I said, we talk about supporting small business. I mean, Robert is an icon in this industry, but to do the shootout every year and also, audio, video, anything you need, they got you covered. But you guys got to tune in for the shootout because it is a very special event and it's a reference event. So it's professional reference. And I love that they've added these other categories, FOMO, because it does take it a little bit out of reference for the regular consumer.
Out of the box accuracy.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier, Robert, where sometimes if you see what wins the shootout, it might not pertain to what you have at home unless you calibrate it. Because you added these other categories, it does matter. It does help. And I think and I love that, and I'll say this for Robert, even if they weren't going to really become a Panasonic dealer, they really worked hard to try and get Panasonic in this. They did it years ago with Sharp. They do want the best of the best. And the invite is open every year to TCL, Hisense, and everyone else. Right, Robert? So it's not about just the most, so I know we've had battles about that. And and I love TCL and Hisense. Both of them have graciously bowed out, which has made the mini LED competition kind of not relevant. Same with the AK competition, Robert.
A quick question for Robert. Matt Daddy asks, for Utah, does Valley Electronics offer room delivery and setup to Utah?
Well, we deliver to the front door nationwide for free with a few other very, very nice upgrade options that save a lot of money to you. But all I do is refer friends of ours that are custom installers in Utah near you, and but they'll charge you. But they'll be recommended a good custom installer. And you'll save money with us. And I have some other good savings for you and for anybody outside of New York. So give me a call and I'll refer you to a couple of different good companies near your home.
Awesome.
All right. Now, before you leave, Robert, I think this is the time for prediction. And as you know, if you don't predict the TV, I'm predicting.
He's not going to do it.
He's not going to predict. All right, so Robert.
Every time we say that at the shootout, Robert always goes, "Oh, what'd they say?" and he walks away. You've had him on camera like 10 times. Robert, what do you think? I think Wendy needs me. I gotta go. And he goes.
Brian and I will do our prediction. So Robert, if he blinks twice, I think he approves. So I'll start with my prediction. and then Brian will go. So this is my prediction for the shootout this year. If you guys
I don't
don't
even know
know,
your prediction.
I
Actually, I
love
don't
the
even know it.
Panasonic Z95B. I believe it will win by a hair because of the additional categories, bright room watching and
Yep.
out-of-the-box accuracy. I think those two lift Panasonic to where I think most consumers,
Interesting.
and justifiably so, will enjoy that victory. So for me, it is the Panasonic Z95B by a hair above the Sony Bravia 8II. Brian?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, you surprised me. You surprised me. All right. For me, it is. I think the Panasonic Z95B does win, and my reasoning behind it is the most natural, most, in my opinion, the most accurate. Um, Again, it's got the best glossy screen in the business, just edging out the G5 by a little bit. It's literally a black hole glossy screen. And I think that their processing is going to look actually more like the reference monitors. I know Sony does add a little bit of that processing. They just
Mm-hmm.
they're a little saturated, and now they're all going to be calibrated and they're going to be accurate. But I think the
Mm-hmm.
Panasonic is just going to go that, to your point, that little bit extra. And I think it's going to be. I think it's going to win, which will be
Yeah.
a shocker to come out of retirement. Well, not out of retirement, but that is a comeback, Robert. So, Robert, just tell me about the four you think that are going to win.
For
I love all my kids, right? Who do you like better? Which kid do you like the
Yes.
best?
and thank you, Getty, for reminding everyone, hey, there's 240 of you in chat and only 71 likes. Click like, guys. We are
Yeah,
here
guys,
for
click
you.
like.
Yes.
Let's get this live stream out there. Thank you so much, Getty, for
And
that
don't forget to tune
reminder.
in for the shootout. Don't forget to FOMO and I'll run as long as we need to. We need you guys to be in there and just talk it up. Tell us what you think.
And S95F is the most aggressively sold on sale Black Friday. So, Satanist, if you can't afford it today, trust me, watch for Black Friday, and Value Electronics will have an amazing deal. Black Friday, Samsung S95F. Actually, before it, probably sometime in September, Samsung starts hitting those deals hard before anybody else. So keep that in
Mhm.
mind. And Getty's not wrong. All the love for the Panasonic, but he thinks LG G5 for the win. And Getty, you might be right. My G5 isn't calibrated. So there are a lot of issues out of the box,
Yeah.
but then that goes to the out of the box loss. Can the G5 recover out of the box, even if it
Yeah.
wins everything else up to that point, right? So that's the issue.
Well, and the processing on all four is, again, as Robert said, even with Samsung, their processing is getting it's retooled every
Mhm.
year, and they do look. And what's
Mhm.
funny, Robert, just to really describe how important the shootout is to the industry, these companies, they update their stuff for the shootout. They
Yeah.
Yes.
want to win. So
Yes.
it's not like this is some off-brand out in the corner. This is known throughout the industry.
Oh,
I'm
no,
very proud to be
Brian,
part of it.
they take it so seriously. Samsung is seeking assistance from third-party consultants that we both know very well as basically these TV makers, they want to win. They
Yes.
Yeah.
don't have, other than Sony, they don't have, other than Panasonic, not just these LG and Samsung, they don't have an in-house studio team. Panasonic
Yeah.
outsources to a true Hollywood colorist that goes in and tunes
Yeah.
their
For
TVs
years. Yeah. For
for
years. Yep.
years, right? Sony Studios, they have
Yep.
vast teams that tune it. And so I love that they take this so seriously. So Robert, you started something in 2004, right? What was that,
Yes.
over 20 years ago? And
Yes.
it's grown to something that's just so respected. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for letting
Yeah.
us be a part of it.
Yeah. We're very proud to be part of it. But I just love that it's it's recognized all over the world, and it's something that, again, these manufacturers do love to have that badge of honor for winning. If they win, they take it very serious. That's a lot of pressure on you, my friend. And
Yes.
it's funny, you ask Robert how he's doing, he's like, I'm great.
Yep.
When's the shootout? Tomorrow? You're not going to make him nervous at all.
Well, this is what I love about reviews, right? So Kivan Klee is saying, KG did his side by side, and it's so obvious the Bravia 8 Mark II is ahead when it comes to image processing and so forth. So this brings a different point. Because we want creators' intent, the calibrators and the judges want all that stuff shut off.
Yes.
So that's something else to consider, right? Because that's not creator's intent. They're taking image processing, over sharpening, over brightening, turning all of that off. Does that make a difference? So we'll have to see about that.
Well, and I mean, it's also, we're talking about, we say this through YouTube. How's the TV set up? What content are we showing? Is it Jen's content that goes 10? Like a lot of the strengths that something like the G5 is going to have isn't really going to help it in this reference battle, Robert. Right. So a lot of the things that we think, like we talked about this with the Z9K a few years ago, it should blow. No, those powers are rendered powerless when it comes to reference in many cases. It really brings out the best of their base technology, other than relying on live color or reality creation or any of those extra things, FOMO. So, it's the way these TVs look in the shootout will look very different than our comparisons. Even if we do filmmaker mode and professional, they'll still look different in a shootout.
Yeah.
They
And
look
then we have the
identical.
underdog. I love that there's always an underdog. When has Samsung been an underdog? Remember,
So
Samsung
YG
came in second place 2 years in a row. Second place. Can they do it again?
But one thing I'll say that I'll never forget, probably our third shootout was Spears and Munsell, and it was one of the scenes, Robert, where there was a flag on top of one of the buildings. And everybody had that jewelry, the jewelers, like,
The loop.
just to see what the pixels were doing. Like, that's what I'm saying, guys. This is far beyond, hey, I think I like it. These guys, that's why the shootout has always been really hard to shoot. These guys get up, they go from TV to TV, they spend a certain amount of time with each one, and then they come over and they look closer. So that's why the 1 or 2 points, and here's the thing, and I've said this many times, especially these TVs, if your TV comes in fourth place, you win. The fact that it's even in the shootout, it's amazing. But your TV could lose by 2 or 3 points and be in fourth place, right? It ends up being that close. Like, I think the S95F was how far away from half a point last year from winning?
Yeah.
So the S95F, one of them was really close.
It was very close. Yeah. No,
The
it was
S95F, even with the matte
point.
screen FOMO, it almost won it from half a point. So there is no losers here, but I want you guys to really understand the amount of care not only the calibrators, but the judges take in their scoring. It's just very different than what we show you guys on YouTube. We're like, okay, I like that one better. Even if you're a video file and an audio file, it's another level of how they really look at these. It's really something fun to watch. And we'll try and show a little bit of it, but we're in another room this year, so.
Yep. And for those who are confused, Mr. Zohn is Robert Zohn. Because I think some people saw Robert and Mr. Zohn and they didn't know it was the same person. So Mr. Zohn is Robert Zohn, who is our guest today. Robert Zohn of Valley Electronics. And lastly, because someone was saying Mr. Universe of TVs is Mr. Zohn. So basically, it's like Robert without the steroids.
Robert's lean and mean.
So Brian and I predict Panasonic Z95B, and I have to say I'm very surprised that I selected it because this is the first time they've come to the USA, all new TV technology. They've never had the primary RGB Tandem OLED before. This is something they've had to tune, not the MLA, but the new panel technology from LG Display. And I love that out of the bat, they did it better than LG out of the box. LG took 2 firmware updates, and it's a bit better now. But Z95B, out of the box on its original firmware, I thought it was rock solid. So they really have a strong team for tuning and processing this TV, and it's obvious that it's important to them. This is an important TV to them.
Well, in fairness to LG and the other manufacturers, I mean, Panasonic is really kind of releasing one TV this year, one flagship.
Yes.
And they released it like a week ago. Where LG's G5 was like the first TV released. The S95F was right there. Even Bravia 8 Mark II was out early this year. And I think there's a detriment to that sometimes, getting it out the door.
Yeah.
And they have other TVs to worry about in their lineups. So the engineering team's focusing on 9 TVs or 5 TVs versus just one. And I do think this one is a winner.
And that's the problem. They focus, when you focus on that many, well, okay. I don't know if it's an excuse, but definitely you're going to lose
Sony's
reputation. Got 2. Yeah, you're losing your reputation by putting out way
Yeah.
too many TVs. But then again, you got to make your sales. You got to make your sales because
God.
most people, they cannot distinguish between one firmware from the next. Unlike you guys, everyone who's watching our show, it's like one firmware update. Oh my gosh, I lost 30 nits. I'm like, wow, you can see 30 nits? I can't see 30 nits. But I got viewers
Yeah.
calling me. They're putting out comments. My S95 or my G5 just got an update. Did you lose 50 nits, FOMO? I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I can't tell. But
Yeah.
yep, that's how dedicated our viewers are.
Well, quickly to Michael, if you put Michael's comment back up, and we've tried to dispel this a bit, is we've had companies bought and sold throughout the years that reclaim their brands. That is not Panasonic. So the Panasonic team that I met this year and last year, they've been there. It's like Sony, 70 years they've been making TVs. So because you guys, not you guys specifically, but the thought is because it's a Fire TV, that they're no longer Panasonic. Now that's been the case for other manufacturers, not Panasonic. That whole team, just like Sony, there's a craftsmanship, there's a mentorship that has gone on for decades upon decades. So if you're afraid of it because it's got an Amazon Fire thing, that's just because they can't waste the resources on an OS they've never been successful with. That's their words. So they want to organize and focus on their image quality, but that whole team that you guys love from the Plasma days, that's them. They're still there. Same with Sony. We've met guys at Sony, they're there 30 years. It's like almost like an old-time American manufacturer company. That's how Panasonic and Sony are built. So those of you that want to really support them and help them, it is the team you know and love. It's not just Amazon TV. It is Panasonic. We know them.
Yeah.
We don't know. And here's the thing about Sony and Panasonic, both FOMO. We don't know their marketing teams at all. We know them, the people that work there. We've met the engineers. We were out to dinner with Panasonic, and Takagi's like, oh, I program it. He was apologizing because he put too many presets. That's the level.
I told him to rename the presets. I want a beast mode. I want a FOMO mode because there's like 18 presets.
So quick story. We're at dinner, and shout out to Tiger and Takagi-san, is that you don't know who does what, and they have professional 1, 2, and FOMO goes, well, my complaint is there's too many presets and they should be this, and he goes, I'm really, really sorry. He didn't say I'll tell the guy. He's the guy.
He's the guy. He named it. You name these presets. Give me 2. Let me name 2. Let me have fun with 2.
But my point is, that's the team, the Osaka team. Those are the guys.
Yeah.
We met the guy that created the Z9D in Japan from Sony. Robert knows all these guys for many, many years. So I hate hearing that it's no longer the Panasonic you know and love. Robert's known people in that for 30 years.
So here's the question. That's all. I did not know this, Brian. Panasonic has
they have a
different remote. Now, assuming it's compatible, I don't know if it is, but if it is, that'd be amazing if Value Electronics got an exclusive on those remotes. That would separate your TVs, because when you buy it from Robert, you will get this remote. And if those remotes cost $20, Robert, you buy them up and package it with your TV. Because I just paid like $9 for my LG remote because I can't stand that magic finger that flies all over the place. So I went on Walmart and paid $9 for an original LG remote. Like $9 all day long. So now I actually have a real remote with my LG.
Well, Robert, in the store, you and I run around using the A90J remote, the Sony, the big Sony silver one. So if you still use that remote. But I'm excited. To me, this is going to be the tightest race. There really is no weakness in this lineup at all. I think, Robert, we've talked about QD-OLED versus micro lens array. It gave the brightness to those to the G4 and the G3, but now seeing the colors at those high nit counts really compete with QD-OLED, that's what's going to make this so interesting. And it's not like the QD-OLEDs blew away the MLA, but these RGB tandem OLEDs are on another level. I think Panasonic is going to tame that enough to really make this. I mean, literally, it's going to be. I don't envy the judges at all. I'll just say that to you.
And I want to address Michael's question because I think it is about why it's Fire TV. So Michael says Fire TV is the only wrinkle I have heard about Panasonic. Some people complain about it, right? So here's the thing, and it applies to all TV makers. You have to choose your poison in terms of where do you put your resources. And to create UI software and all the security features and all the app compatibility is an absolute nightmare. Sony gave up on it and went with Google TV many years ago because they just could not support the expense. Samsung has a dedicated phone team. They have so many consumer electronics that they're able to have a software division. They even have a chip foundry division. I mean, they have so many divisions within their ecosystem that they're able to run a software team. But keep in mind, they have a dedicated security division,
Mhm.
Knox, whatever, right? So that they can protect the operating system because they're running an entire home automation, smart home thing. That's why Samsung's able to do it. It's part of a larger vision. And Panasonic's just making a TV. So they don't have this larger vision, and as well as Sony, right? Google TV is good enough for them. And similarly, LG has WebOS because they are a large conglomerate that is vertically integrated. So they have a software team that also builds other stuff out. So with that in mind, everyone, I know you don't like Fire TV, but the question is, then who? Because Google has their fair share of issues as well. And I've met the UI designers of both, and they're all based in America, right? Their focus is to help consumers navigate this mess of information. And they spend so much time perfecting it and they keep on tuning it. So I would
Yeah.
rather a TV maker outsource it to a third party who has a large billion-dollar team focused on just improving that process, that speed, that operating system, tightening it up. That's their job. That's all they do. There is no way TV makers can afford that. Now, whether it's Google or Fire, or in Walmart's case, they're going to promote Chromecast that they picked up from Vizio, right? I think that's the right direction. Now, we can debate whether it's Google or Fire TV, but I'll tell you, Fire TV, if they feel like, you know what, this is not working out, and they're going to revamp the entire screen, they'll do it. You know, Amazon has been known
Yeah.
to do that if they
Well,
need to. If that makes sales go, they will revamp the entire UI.
and I would say Fire TV versus what we saw with, unlike the Roku TVs, Robert, is that the Fire TV OS doesn't interfere with Panasonic settings. Where when
Mhm.
we had some of the Roku TVs, they were so intertwined with the other settings, you could barely see where the TV settings started and began. These are clearly, now the UI looks the same, but when you go over to settings, it's all Panasonic.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
there's also,
the actual settings, yeah.
yeah, it's all the settings are Panasonic. Where with the Roku, I didn't know where the hell we were. I didn't know what page we were on. So I can see where that turned people off, but that's not the case
Well,
with the Fire
Sharp, right? So to your point, Sharp chose Roku. So Sharp
Roku.
could have
Yeah,
went
I
with
mean,
Google, Sharp could have went with Fire, and Sharp chose
yeah,
Roku.
they chose
And
Roku.
you know, it's for the I hate to say it, it's for the senior citizens. So a lot of people pick up Roku. What am I, 75? And so they feel like they've been aged out with the Roku TV, which I think is a wonderful operating system for those who just need simplicity. But Sean,
Yeah.
to your point, Apple TV is completely revamping their UI this fall as well, because the Apple UI is ancient. Apple TV UI, you guys can tell, right? That thing's been around forever. Uh, they're like, you know what? We got to keep up with Fire TV. We got to keep up with Chromecast or Google TV. So Apple will also be revamping, hopefully for the better. So we'll see.
Well, I think also Panasonic having a partner where they can sell as well, just to try and catch up, I think is valuable.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to mention this. Another shout out to Panasonic. TV stands were much more creative as well. So I have the A95K. I love that stand. So artistic.
Mhm.
But this year, my favorite stand has to be the Panasonic
Yeah,
Z95B.
easiest stand
And
in the world.
it's so easy to install.
Swivels.
4
Yep.
screws, boom, boom, you're in. It's easy to find, right? You don't have to hunt and peck. Where the hell's the screw? You plant it in, it has guides. You slide it in, 4 screws, boom, boom, boom. The thing is solid metal.
Yep, it's
It
heavy.
is so, I mean, it's heavy, and then it swivels, and it's center based, unlike the Bravia 8 Mark II, where people were like, I have to buy a new coffee table? Forget it. Let me get something else. I mean,
I,
I don't think
I had
Sony
to put
realized that people have a coffee table and they're going to match the TV to the coffee table. They're not going to
I
replace the
had to
coffee table.
for my
Ironically,
for my comparison, I had to put two TVs, two tables together. Rob, you'd be selling those salamander tables for a 65-inch TV.
Yeah.
It's so wide. I love that it swivels. It's helped me immensely when I'm connecting stuff.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
Ruipro.
Okay, I think, Brian, do we have anything else we want to talk about before
I'm still
we
waiting for
end?
Robert's prediction. Are we not getting his prediction or
No,
what?
no, no, I think Wendy's calling him to.
Well,
One
Robert,
day we'll catch Robert off guard.
for everybody here, I want to say thank you for putting this on every year. I know it's a thankless job in many ways. It's definitely a passion for you in this industry. You've always said that. It's really, and Robert says that we beat him up about these sales. I mean, the margins on TVs are very slim, and Robert still, look, I hear him get yelled at in the store when I'm there because, yeah, I'll add that. And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, well, he wants you to have the best TV and the best experience because every year he loves having that in his own home. So I known him personally. He's a dear friend, but from our communities, and from FOMO, thank you so much for having the shootout every year and for also having us be part of it.
Yeah, can't wait. And we are I'm leaving tomorrow morning, so I got to go to bed now. I got to get out of here. Pat,
3 hours
behind.
behind.
Oh, my flight leaves at 7 a.m. LAX, so I have to get out. And I'm gonna try to fit in a live stream on Friday to talk to Dwayne Davis and Classy, whoever's there, as they're setting up to get kind of like the behind the scenes interview about how we're gonna set this up this year, how Dwayne's setting up the TVs, what the judges are looking for, right? What are the judges' directions like? And then you guys will get a feel for what the judges are being told. And then Saturday morning, 10 a.m., July 26th. Be there or be square. Brian and I will have a lot of good times there. 7 hours straight, baby.
Yeah, that's nothing. It's easy. It's easy for us.
And okay, then with that, let's wrap it up. My prediction, Panasonic Z95B. Brian's prediction, Panasonic Z95B. Robert's going to wait until the judging is done, and then he'll tell you his prediction. and the winner will hopefully get a good deal. All right, everyone. Yes. Until this Saturday or this Friday, that's our next live stream. Stop the FOMO, friends. Thank you, Robert. Bye.
Take care, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.